Awesome. Hello, hello.
Hello. Good afternoon, good morning, where everybody is. I don't know where people are today, but so excited to be here with you.
Yes. Hey, Andrea. So it's been a while, it's like 3 or 4 weeks since our last LinkedIn event.
Yeah, it's been a while. I thought the love was lost there, Ken. I'm glad you're back.
Well, you've been traveling a lot, and I've been
Yeah.
like I was telling you, just being bold, going out to in-person networking
What
event.
what what's in-person networking? I don't even understand that anymore.
Yeah, it was a grand opening of a chamber of commerce locally, and my mentor said, "Hey, there are a couple people that I should meet." So I went out, and oh my God, it was like a couple hundred people,
Wow.
and in about 20 minutes, I felt like I was out of breath, and I had to get some air. So, but it was very fulfilled.
Well, I hope you have something left for today.
Born ready,
Okay,
baby.
okay, well, why don't we just show the people what they came here for?
Yes. So today's topic is AI-driven success and it's high impact strategic thinking for seven figure results.
I can't wait because, I sent you that McKinsey article and I just thought this is so timely. The amount of money people are losing and the amount of time for making either bad decisions or not making decisions or making decisions too slow. And to have AI either in your pocket or on your desktop, it can be a real game changer.
Yeah, yeah. So why don't you share with me, like, what kind of decision making you've been leaning on AI on, and what kind of,
For me, it's a number of things, and this is one of the things about AI, and I forget about it too. I tend to use it for content, but then we forget that it has all these other use cases. Like I think I told you I use it for focus groups. When I'm trying to figure something out. I create a little faux focus group and have it come up with different people and different scenarios. But you can also use it. Well, the most essential, particularly perplexity, you can use it for information generation. Getting all the data that you need before you actually make a good decision. So
Mhm.
I think that is really incredibly important. Um, just to help most folks because we tend to be in our own little echo chambers. And so it's really nice to have that kind of pressure test where you can have, and you have to be careful, and we can get into this in more detail as we move
Mhm.
forward, but you have to be careful because AI can be much more agreeable than you and I can be.
Oh yeah,
I don't
you
know if you've
think?
noticed that. Yeah, it says, "Oh, I'm sorry." It just says, "Oh, of course," and but we don't want that. When we're making decisions, we actually want AI to say to us, that's really, well, maybe not dumb, but that's just not a good idea, or this is the
Mhm.
reason why. So you have to really be careful about how you prompt it and what you want from it.
Yeah.
But you can use it for all sorts of decisions and all sorts of different aspects of your life.
Yeah, absolutely. So one of my favorite activities recently
Yeah.
is just using voice to ask. I have a chat GPT, so I got the app, so I'm just
Yeah, so do I.
interacting with
Yeah.
it using voice and just asking, hey, I'm thinking about ABC, a lot of
Hmm.
what if scenarios and things like that, and 100% agree with you. That is very too agreeable, too affable. I said
Yeah.
no. And then one of my most frequently used prompts is,
Mm. Oh, do tell, Ken. I want to know.
well, let me just scrutinize myself.
Uh-huh.
Beep, beep, beep. Okay. Um, please roast me. Give it to
Hmm.
me straight up. And then,
Yeah.
oh, I'm sorry. You're right. And then it's gonna
I
kind of
know
kind of go
exactly.
into the
You're
little
right.
roasting. Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
So
So,
I
but it
I
does
think
do the roasting.
it does. So you just have
Yeah.
to kind of, nudge a little bit, and then sometimes it may just forget. But I think it does uh, escalate. It does pack the heat. Not like Gordon Ramsay, but it does pack some heat.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think it's so important. I mean, just going into that McKinsey data, I mean, if you just really want to get the best decision making, and again, we get so used to what we think is right that we forget that we may not be right. And
Hmm.
then there are all these people around us who are as agreeable as ChatGPT because either they don't want to hurt our feelings or whatever it is. But it is really important, particularly, no matter if you're in business for yourself, which I know is a lot of your clients, or
Hmm.
a lot of my clients who have people above them who are going to be questioning their decisions. If
Yeah.
they can get AI to question it before their bosses do, and really just take advantage of that and have the answers prepared, and really make sure that they've scrutinized it and get roasted like you roast yourself. It just takes things a lot further and just makes for a
Yeah.
much better decision.
Yeah, I really love that. I think like, I got my first job out of college as a consultant from a big four firm. Changed his name a couple of times, but it's still one of those consultancies. And so my boss was like, "Well, Ken, you're refresh, you're green, but let me give you this golden nugget that you never bring me problem. You might be eligible to bring me a problem, but you always have to bring me two solutions or
Hmm.
alternatives."
Yeah.
Which has been a very good mental framework to be serving me, and it got me to where I am, which is which is the LinkedIn Live.
Okay, Ken, time to aim a little higher than that, but I'm glad we're here. But but to your point, I mean, one of the things I do try to do is really
Hmm.
give people a close to finished product, because people do they're much better at criticizing than coming up with their own ideas. So as much as we can give people a more finished product, the better off everyone is. And to the point of McKinsey's data, the faster the decisions can be made and the more money can be saved because you're making quicker, better decisions.
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah, and as a matter of fact, when you share that McKinsey study, I actually borrowed the reference and I trained the UI so that it's prepared to deal with some of the questions that we're going to be asking it interactively.
Oh, I can't wait. I always learn when I'm on these calls with you. I love them. These are great.
No, you've been great. I mean, you sent me also this case study. I look up the name of the entity, right? It's called Regional Healthcare
I
Network.
didn't make up the case study. That was ChatGPT.
Okay,
But
good.
but but to the point, I mean, these are the
Yeah,
things you can do with it. There are so many use cases that I think we often forget. If for those who are using it, we rely on the same things over and over again, and
right.
it's good to broaden our thinking about how we can use it, like
Yeah,
using it for strategic thinking. So
right.
to your point with the case study, sorry to interrupt.
Oh no. So, well, I don't want to ignore the crowd. I'm trying to scan the room, and right now it's like this is a Riverside thing, so it's all black. I'm not looking at the comment or people saying hello. So I do want to kind of scan the room to see what the
Okay.
audience, if they have any feedback, they want to raise their hand to say, hey, how about this? Would love to, get the audience and just asking questions and
Definitely.
throwing tomatoes and whatever you guys have to spare. Is there any way we can tell? No. Okay.
I have no idea. I'm not a Riverside user. I'm depending on you and the wonderful Jenny to tell me.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Great. So today's talk is using AI to do strategic thinking. It's kind of like a companion.
Yeah.
It's also a person advisor, right? And I think there
Yes.
are good advisors and they're bad advisors, just like real life, right? Wouldn't you
Yes.
agree?
I so agree. And that is, I think, to your point, we want to go to trusted advisors. We want to, and that does not mean, again, getting, a happy answer telling us you're right, or Adam Grant talks about this when we want to get feedback. There's good feedback and bad feedback, and that isn't necessarily what they're saying, it's how they're saying it. So
Hmm.
we want to have things that we can work on and things that we can actually take action on. And occasionally, if something's wrong, we want to know that it's wrong. And often the feedback we get from
Hmm.
friends and colleagues is not thorough enough and isn't
Hmm.
always the truth.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, so let me ask this question, Andrea. Um, do you have any guidance on how to get the truth or as much truth as you can, when interacting with AI?
Oh, with AI, I
Yeah.
think AI is not that different from interacting with a human being. I do think you need to be specific. You really
Yeah.
need, particularly with AI, and with humans, you need to prompt it in a way that, you're getting the kinds of feedback that you want. To your point of, creating your
Hmm.
prompt to get roasted, you want to be able to, if there's something specifically you want from it, like for strategic decision making, you
Hmm.
can give it a persona. You could have it be like your boss. And, if your boss is, a 40 something year old woman from Spain, you can tell, give it as much detail as possible to get the
Hmm.
kinds of feedback you want, and also tell it the kinds of feedback you want. Again, do you want to be roasted? Do you want to be critiqued? Do you want time frames? Do you want, I mean, what's missing? And say what makes for a good decision. Because as we've talked about before, AI is the smartest idiot I know. It really, it's brilliant, but it needs you to really actually take action in the right ways, and that's based on how you prompt it.
Hmm. Hmm.
What do you
Yeah.
think, Ken? What works for you when you do these things?
So I think that being explicit almost and
Mm-hmm.
modular. I mean, I keep using this word because um, under the hood, there's some inherent limitations, right? The
Yeah.
context window, you can't give it the encyclopedia. Hey,
No.
just tell me something about it. You kind of have to do it a little piecemeal. And as the technologies are getting better, the context window again is a technical term, but it's getting larger and larger. You can throw a couple essays, and
Yeah.
still AI is going to retain the context, retain your persona, retain your personal history. Is called the memory, right? So I
Mm-hmm.
think every time you're playing with OpenAI, it's got this updating memory. It's got this little
Yeah.
flashing
Yeah.
thing now. So it's getting better every day. But I think like just uh, to avoid AI hallucination and things like that, there are a couple things right at this moment, today, we can be helping it. For example, providing a knowledge base, like you
Mm-hmm.
can easily upload a PDF and
Yeah. Definitely.
just gently remind, hey, just stick with this knowledge base. Again, not People Magazine and Oscar and Amy and all this different knowledge.
Are you talking about creating a GPT of your own, or just creating, having that in the conversation for those? I'm sorry to kind of go off into a little
Yeah,
OpenAI tangent, but you can create separate GPTs that actually have the knowledge base that Ken is talking about, so that it's really
right.
taking from that knowledge base. Or you can just, and I do this all the time when I write or
Hmm.
do things, I give
Hmm.
it background. I give it information to tell it what I expect of it.
Yeah.
So, that means sharing previous content that I've written, or sharing things that I think it needs to know. So
Hmm.
there's two ways to do that. Which one, or do you have a preference, Ken?
Also, when custom GPT first came out, it's almost how long has it been? It's
Oh, it's been a
beginning
while
of this
now.
year, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was
We're,
beginning of
there's
last.
like regular time and AI time. So
Yeah,
yeah.
it's like double time, triple time.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
when GPT and all that stuff first came out, this retrieval augmented generations, they were newer, and then you kind of
Hmm.
have to go through all this stuff. But now is basically at every chat window. It doesn't matter where you go, whether you go to OpenAI or you go to Claude,
Yeah.
Anthropic Claude, they always have this little paper clip icon, and it's not to summon what's the
Yeah.
clippy thing that is jumping around in the MS Office. It's not
Is
summoned
that
like
still
that.
there? I thought he went away.
I I don't know. I
I
somebody
don't. I
asked
don't.
me
Yeah.
whether I have a
Yeah.
Windows machine, and I said I haven't had one since I left corporate. But
Mm.
anyhow, the idea is like you can just have that paper clipped window and upload. For
Yeah.
example, I'm going to show in a
Good.
demo, is to upload that McKinsey framework. It's like a couple hundred words. Upload it. Upload this slide deck that I'm about to show, and then going to be asking it interactive questions so that we're framing the conversation just with
Hmm.
that. And again, it doesn't have to go outside. And not only is it improving the accuracy, the relevancy, but it's
Hmm.
also making the speed, because instead of going to, again, the entire knowledge base, Reddit, all the
Yeah.
subreddits, some of them
Yeah.
are kind of objectionable. Uh, but it's staying with the context that you're providing.
As long as you have the right context. I mean, just to be clear about that, you need to
Yeah.
make sure you have the right and enough context. Because sometimes I put things in there and I'm just like, I want the wider universe. So
Hmm.
just to clarify a little bit around that.
Yeah.
But I can't wait to see what you put together.
Right. Well, so today's use cases, use case, I kind of build that using this. I I thought that it was going to be a real entity, so I just add this
Oh,
Acme.
I'm sorry. Yeah,
No,
okay.
well, I did look it up. I did Google it. Say, did I? I
It
just
might
want.
have been, but I just asked ChatGPT to give me one and I gave it some
Okay.
parameters. And to the point of our earlier conversation, as long as you give it the right parameters, it comes out with some pretty interesting
Yeah.
information that seems real.
Right.
So you have to
So
be careful of those hallucinations.
yeah. So it's basically synthetic data as an entity, but I just make it even more private. I call it Acme, regional health networks. And again, we're going to jump into the slideshow really quick. But before we do, I did see some people coming in, and I see some friendly names: John McCaughlin and Ramona Maxwell. These are my buddies from my SharePoint days. And so, hello, and hope everybody is well. Yeah. So, well, we 15 minutes into the presentation, and I think that let's go ahead and see the slideshow and trying to jump straight into it.
Excellent. I can't wait.
Yeah, let's go ahead and share my screen. How difficult is that?
Hmm. Oh, here we go.
Okay, great. We see some screen. Great. So
Mhm.
this is a 6-page presentation, so nobody died from it. Okay, so nobody gets bored, nobody died from this.
Nobody was harmed in the making of it. Okay, great.
Yeah, and that includes a title page and a bonus page, which I'm gonna hold until the very last minute. There
Ooh,
will be some
I know
bonus.
what the bonus is.
Great, so let's go ahead and go to
Okay.
this thing. Let's just gonna adjust the screen a little bit. Okay, so let's talk about this framework. I always like to see what we're getting into, right? So we are, at the end of the day, we want to drive to this high impact strategic thinking with 7-figure result. Now you're already 8-figure or 10-figure. Congratulations, just add another zero to it. But if you're smaller, you're 6-figure for now, we'll go at, we'll take you to the 7 figures. That's the idea. That's the hype that we're trying to build.
To take you or your company. So,
Yeah.
if you're working for a company, the more you can add some zeros to their bottom line, the higher up you'll move just to, say that this is relevant for everyone.
That actually brings up a good point. Another sage advice I got early on is to manage up.
Yes.
Dress
Uh-huh.
as if you're already promoted. If you are a analyst, and so dress like you're a manager.
Or not like we're dressed today. Just do the opposite of what we're doing. But that's why we're in business for ourselves now.
Right.
But to your point with managing up, I mean, the easier you can make the life of your boss,
Hmm.
the better off you're going to be, which is another reason why this is so important.
Yeah.
That's how you start getting noticed, when
Right.
because everybody has a boss in some way, just about, with few exceptions. So the more you're able to bring something that's more of a finished product and a smart product,
Yeah.
the better off you're going to be in your career, whatever that looks like.
Yeah. If not, you always have a boss at home domestically. So either way, everybody has a boss. That's it.
Looks like we got a question, Ken.
Which industry or sectors do you believe are most impacted by AI? Whoa, Andrea.
Well, I mean, there's different ways of looking at this. I mean, impacted by or going to be impacted by. Right now, I think the most obvious is tech. There are a lot of laggards in the space. A lot of, one of the things I told Ken, I shared with him was that healthcare is not uptaking this very quickly. There was
Mhm.
some data that I saw that only 1% were using it on a daily basis, with the exception of Moderna, can't even speak. They were using it at 70% daily or 75%. So
Okay.
there's room for improvement with them, with certain industries, because a lot of people need someone like Ken or me to help them start using it and get into the mindset of how to use it and then have the technical expertise to use it. But there are a lot of companies that haven't started. So I would say tech is probably the one using it most now, but
Mhm.
there's so much room for growth in so many other industries. What's your thinking around that, Ken?
Hmm. I don't want to have a sensation like Skynet is coming, but I think it's going to be pretty built in. It's going to be
Yeah.
integrated into
Oh,
our
yeah.
life. It's kind of like internet.
Yeah.
Uh,
But
Nowadays,
faster.
you don't think about it. You just think it's like okay, you turn on the phone, you have that. It's kind of like water. You just expect it to be there. So I do think that it's going to be pretty integrated into our life
Hmm.
very soon. Is there going to be anything that is going to be more impact? Well, anything that is that can be modeled and automated, will be impacted. So again, that's kind of like I don't really want to you know have any kind of fear or anything like that. But I think it's going to be in a good way very soon.
Yeah, I'm not quite as optimistic of a view as it being in a good way necessarily,
Mm-hmm.
but I agree with you. Anything that could be modeled, anything that can be analyzed, large data sets.
Mm-hmm.
This is so different than the internet. Well, first of all, the speed in which the uptake is occurring, but also
Mm-hmm.
the jobs, the sectors that it's going to impact. So
Mm-hmm.
this is why I keep telling people to just start using it now,
Yeah.
get comfortable with it now, be the leaders in the space as opposed to the people who get caught without the knowledge,
Mm-hmm.
because, as Ken pointed out, it's just going to be integrated. It's just going to be a part of
Yeah.
everyday life. But if you fall behind, you could be one of the people who is let go. And that's
Mm-hmm.
why I'm not optimistic, in the sense that
Mm-hmm.
it is going to take jobs. And I
Mm-hmm.
don't see the training occurring to make sure that people can move into other roles that everybody loves to
Yeah.
talk about. So we have to take ownership of that ourselves and
Yeah.
really start building our capacity around this. And it
Mm-hmm.
is the lowest barrier to entry to get started, which is why even somebody like myself, a self-professed technophobe,
Mm-hmm.
um, is so was so quick to use it and uses it so much. I mean, I use it several times a day, depending on
Yeah.
what's going on. It's integrated into my work life.
Yeah. And so I do agree that the barrier of entry is super low.
Yeah.
Any kind of AI chatbot right now, just call it LLM or any kind of open AI's got a free tier. You can use it to, pretty extensively. I am not paying for cloud, Anthropic cloud at this moment, but I did test it over the weekend out of necessity. And I'll tell you a little story in a few seconds. But it was
Yeah.
amazing. Even the free tier is allowed to get you so far much
But
quicker than you could
only,
have.
yes, but I actually just got the paid tier, and I'm probably going
Mm,
to cancel it for the very
mhm.
same reason why I got it. So many people are using it now that they really limit usage. So even if you're paying for it, they really limit usage, which
Yeah.
is, I thought, fascinating. But I agree with you.
Mm,
It's just quick, and did my first project the other week, and I have to, it's just cool.
yeah. Yeah. So that the little quick story, and we're gonna
Please.
spend the 15 seconds is like my wonderful team, uh, had to take a little few days off, kind of unexpectedly, and we just launched a brand new website, wonderful, fast as heck, doing really well on page speed is like all in the 90s. It's wonderful. So I needed to create a new landing page for the networking event I was going to last week, and it was a brand new Next.js framework. I haven't been very hands-on with development of it. The development team has taken care of it. But then I was caught with about 12 hours left, so I had to use Claude and to help me adjust a couple of landing pages. So I learned this framework pretty much from the ground up within 2 or 3 hours.
Wow.
Now, did I understand all of the code? Probably not. I copy and paste a lot of the code. I had to go couple round trips to debug it, and I wouldn't say I have clarity or understanding of it, but at the end of it, I was able to get the landing page up, collect email, send them an automated
Wow.
response, all of that. So I solved the crisis for the moment, and I think there's still going to be a meeting is like a melting pot, right? Now, if you have the knowledge, you know how to steer it, you can get massive accelerated results. So it's not like you don't need to get the learning and training. You still have to learn to operate it, but with that tool, you can create massive leverage and acceleration.
Cool. Yeah, I know your website looks amazing, and how fast it is, and it's great that you're able to just leverage the tools. But again, to my earlier point, this means that certain jobs might go away
Yeah.
when you have something that's augmenting somebody's
Hmm.
skill set.
Right.
Yeah,
Well, so on that
let's
point, why don't we talk
dive
about
in.
this
Yeah.
framework and empower all of us to be doing this strategic thinking, managing up, and bringing, not just the problem but also some suggested alternative
Hmm.
and solutions to
Hmm.
your management so that you can stay ahead.
Manage
Okay.
up, stand out. Yep.
Yeah, great. So let's look at this circle really quick. So we'll start with this strategic vision. So you have a vision. You're taking a walk. You got this idea, this epiphany, whatever it is. So now you want a sounding board. So just open up this interactive session and we'll do the demo. Then we'll go into this more tactical planning, which is like, okay, we got this vision, how do we implement it, execute it within the resources within your organization, right? Well, if you are a smaller company, you can say, oh, I'm going to get on this, what is that thing that happens January? Super Bowl. I want to buy some ads at the halftime right after Apple. Well, it's out of the budget, right? So it's not really feasible. So there's some tactical planning to be done, and we're going to be using a tool that I just
Mm.
came across a Instagram post. It was an old business canvas, right? It was from Airbnb. It
Yeah.
was from some big companies when they first started out. It was really nostalgic, really 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 beautiful. And then the rest of the steps, which we won't be talking about today, just like it's going to be too much of a scope, is the execution and optimization, which is the fine tuning, which is what I call the roasting. Roast my plan, roast my execution. This is my feedback. You can do all of that within the execution optimization step.
I thought that was my job, Yen.
You've been doing plenty of
Well,
roasting between you and Jenny.
I'm teasing. I do see we have another question. I recently heard that the biggest Gen I use case adopted in the workplace is the ability to summarize content. Do you agree? And also, do you see any other heavily adopted use cases? Any thoughts on that, Ken?
Mm-hmm. So summarization, I think, is absolutely the current strength. It's been for a while because it's very factual. You're giving it a
Yeah.
context. You just need to summarize it. Now, just like it's a oh I can't use this word. Just like opinion, everyone has one. Everyone can summarize something, but so there's
Hmm.
so many different ways to skin a cat. And again,
Yeah.
not eating cat, not eating any animal. Just it's a saying. Okay, there's so many ways to approach things.
Yeah. No, it's true. I mean, there are so many ways to approach things. It is definitely one of the things that's a strength for it. I think it really depends on the business and the office. I do think, to Ken's point, anytime you have a big data set, whether it be an article, a meeting summary, just anything where there's data, certainly it does kind of give you a factual output that you can take from and prompt it to give you certain pieces more than others. Like when I sent Ken the McKinsey article, I also sent
Hmm.
him a summarization of it because I thought, well, he's a busy guy. I don't want to wastes his time with a lot of content.
Yeah.
So that's definitely one of the ways that people are using it.
Hmm.
It really, some people are using it to create content. Some people are using it for data analysis for numbers because it's great with that. Again, factual, less hallucinations with something like that. It really does depend on the organization and what they're doing. So,
Hmm.
and I haven't been in the offices. And one of the other things is that a lot of places just aren't using it in a smart fashion at this point. They don't
Hmm.
really have an operational plan, a strategic plan or vision, to go back to the point of this session, that they've really thought through in terms of, okay, we have this incredible tool.
Yeah.
How are we going to use it as a company in the in the smartest way, in the way that's going to leverage the assets, the human assets we have?
Hmm.
So it really depends.
Yeah. So one more point on
Please.
that is, if I'm taking a step back, the summarization is the middle of the life cycle of a piece of
Mm,
content because it's been produced before. So if you
yeah.
think about the production of the piece of content, that's actually where AI can be doing. It has been
Yeah.
doing a lot of doing content, and you can actually tell somebody is posting AI content without any other scrutiny and revisions, and that's a big no right now. So I think the idea is like you can, if you think about a whole life cycle, you have an idea, kind of like, not to plug our last LinkedIn event, like you have an
Oh, go
idea.
ahead, plug it.
Like Andrea got a media request, say, well, we
Mm,
want to talk about EQ at the workplace, right? So she went away and came up with this idea, original work, and then it went on the Entrepreneur magazine. Which magazine was it? Was it Fast?
oh, it was the Fast Company one. I can't remember. I
Fast,
can't remember, Ken.
Fast Company. It
There's
was
just
the
so
Fast
many. No,
Company.
I'm kidding. But
Yeah.
yeah, it was one of those. Yeah.
So it was the Fast Company. So Andrea got featured, and then she's taking it to repurpose it,
Yeah.
turn it into a blog post, turn it into a YouTube video, turn it into a LinkedIn event. And now the summary part of it can then come in. They say, wow,
Mm,
let's use AI to summarize it and maybe put it in your LinkedIn newsletters.
yeah. Yeah, no, it really makes content go much, much further. I've had some people comment on how much content I've been putting out, and part of it is just because of AI. It just makes
Hmm.
everything so much faster. But
Yeah.
to Ken's original point, if I'm doing longer pieces, I certainly go use AI first. It's an idea generator, and even to the point of
Hmm.
this strategic decision making, getting the data, getting the information, because I really like to have things to be, I come out of healthcare, so I like things to
Yeah.
be evidence based. I like to have some research behind whatever I'm putting out,
Hmm.
and I can get all that so much quicker. Different sources. I mean, you need the human component because people like
Right.
Ken and I can take different things. Even when we have our conversations, we're pulling from different expertises, areas of expertise.
Hmm.
So the human part, gives it the what is it, makes it spicy, as you like to say, Ken. Gives it the flavor. AI can be really generic, but it really can create the content. So that is something that I'm sure a lot of organizations are using it for too. But certainly the summarization, meeting minutes, I remember being tortured by that early in my
Oh.
career. It just takes away a lot of the grunt work right now.
Hmm.
As it advances, it'll take more work away. So we need to advance with it. I'm going to
Yeah.
be repeating myself on that one, but it's just so critical at this point.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you were talking about the meeting minutes, and it's funny, every time you and I meet, who's the most punctual is your AI attendee. Is what is that? What is that? AI no con Fathom or
I don't, I'm trying to get that thing off
Fireflies or
of,
something?
yeah, I'm trying to get it off my computer, but I beg your pardon, I'm always punctual. I spent 9 years in Switzerland. I am on time.
Well, whoever shows up on the clock
Oh,
on the
call.
dot usually
It's
is
my
the
meeting minute.
is the
Okay,
AI though.
okay.
Yes, so it's usually
It's,
a couple seconds. But anyway, my
well,
point is like taking those meeting minutes, and I'm just throwing just a random use case here. Collect all those meeting minutes. feed that into a AI agent, and then you could be asking stuff. So whose job kind of took away. Maybe some dedicated professional note taker sitting in the back room or something. I don't know still exists, but like if it does, that those jobs are probably going to be replaced pretty soon, if not already.
Yeah, well,
Yeah,
there's a lot of them. Let's shall
yeah,
we dive into
yeah.
the meat of this, Ken?
Very good. Very good. So let's move on to this next slide. So again, the framework, we got these 4 steps in the cycle. And today let's just focus on this two. Okay. And again, I'm just, using your use case, which is the regional hospital system.
Hmm.
And the two collaterals that I'm thinking about using, again, is really um, it just an idea, right? So you use SWOT analysis,
Hmm.
and it stands for, help me out, is strength,
Oh,
weakness,
opportunities, and what was the other one? Strength,
threats.
threats. Thank you. My brain
Yes.
just shut down.
Yeah. So I think
Yeah.
like business school or whatever it is, like one of
It
the
was
first
just
things.
one of the, as we talked about before we went on this
Yeah.
call, it was just one of those things that companies like to use
Mm-hmm.
a lot.
Yeah.
So we just wanted to use things that
Mm-hmm.
that companies would go through naturally and show how AI can really make this better, smoother, and take away a few steps that
Yeah.
a lot of people just don't like doing anyway.
Yes. And then think about stuff that people don't like doing. I use Canva. I can say I'm not gonna say I love it or I don't love it, but it is very tedious. So there is a way for you to kind of create these collaterals using AI, and which is
Oh, I think we need to do a session on that. Well, you need to do a
yeah,
session and I'll watch that one. But
yeah.
anyway, back to our SWOT analysis.
So at the end of this, we're gonna have a visual of some sort, kind of basic,
Mhm,
but you get a visual, the collaterals, and then let's move on to this business model canvas. And this is something that again I came up with across the Instagram post, LinkedIn post, and it was old business model canvases from these mega firms, Airbnb, Facebook, and whatever from like 2 decades ago. And it's basically instead of like a long business plan with a couple hundreds of pages, we're talking about 1 page with a couple grids, and it works for startups but it also works for established companies,
mhm,
especially for innovations. So I think that is a really interesting use case for us for today. And
mhm.
then the other two, the execution optimization measure results, you guys have to kind of come back. You have to come back for the subsequent events that Andrea and I are hosting.
Good to
Yeah.
hear it. I'm glad there'll be more.
Okay.
Okay.
Great. Let's move on to this. Let's set the context here before we jump into the hands-on demo. Okay. So um, Acme, I just added a name just so that we're not violating any copyright. So Acme, it can
Okay.
be a
Thank you.
bakery, it can be a
Keeping me
regional
out of
health
trouble.
network, multiple hospital system, and it specializes in high patient volumes and advanced care. What's more very popular right now with the demographics is elective surgeries, joint replacements, cardio surgeries, procedures, and things like that.
It's where the
Okay,
money's at.
so when the money is medical.
I come out of healthcare. I know that a lot of hospitals focus on these things, and that was one of the problems, one of the many problems during COVID. I don't mean to
Hmm. Hmm.
diminish what happened during COVID, but
Yeah.
one of the problems for hospitals during COVID was they couldn't do the elective surgeries, which a lot of places make their money from, because
Hmm.
it is elective. And yeah, so the better you can create a better patient experience, the more likely you're going to have people decide to go to your hospital because it's
Yeah.
elective, which is why Ken and I decided to use
Hmm.
this as an example because we know that this is something that matters in terms of the bottom line for health systems, but
Yeah.
it doesn't necessarily have to be a health system. It's what
Right.
I know best, but any company knows where their big money earners are, and you want to be focusing on that
Hmm.
and leveraging that and optimizing that. So, the framework Ken's created could be used for any business.
Yeah. And then Andre, that's such a good point. I don't have any professional experience with the healthcare system, but I've been a heavy user the past few months. And those are not elective procedures. I came out of
Yeah.
some heavy chemo and radiation just finished about a couple of weeks ago, and look at these challenges. I I loved my healthcare team, but these are the real challenges that I faced. Wait times. They always call me in the most inopportune time, right? In the middle of my transit, running red lights on the scooter or something. That's when they call. I said,
Well, at least
don't.
they're calling you. A lot of systems don't. So we'll just putting that out there.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
But it can be done better. Yeah.
it can be done better. And then it's like laying out here in the second next to the telephone, long wait times, inconsistent communication, and the pre-post operative process pretty fragmented. And I agree because there's so many specialists, so many different teams, so many different departments.
Yeah, no, I went through the same thing during my surgeries. This is where Ken and I bonded. When you're a patient, it's the time when it's most difficult for you, and the processes are just way too hard, and it can be done better. And
Absolutely.
so here we go. Tell
Absolutely.
it, tell us how that's going to happen, Ken.
Yes. So the objectives in Utopia is to improve the journey, enhance operational efficiency, aka you know financially, reduce variability in across the hospitals because like
Mhm,
you got different departments, different locations, and this is a multi-state operation.
mhm.
This acme has dominated. It could be even more variable. Okay, so that is the context. Now let's go ahead and talk about this McKinsey article, which I think is very pointed, and it's going to be available when you sign up for the sign-in form. You're going to get the slide, you're going to get the video, you also will get the source document of this McKinsey article that Andrea has provided. So just really quick summary of the summary. uh, is segmenting decision to improve efficiency, uh, better decision making in meetings. A lot of times you're just meeting to kind of vent with no objectives in mind. That's why Amazon's Jeff Bezos got this really specific, strict meeting format. Then the third point is delegation for smarter decisions and speed and decision making. So a little high level until you read into the details is kind of fluffy, but I already fed that into the AI, and I think at this point, let's go ahead and move on to the AI. And this in this session, I'm going to be using Claude because Claude has this ability to make these visuals. I think it's better than OpenAI as of this moment.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Oh, I can't wait to see that. I haven't tried that. So
yeah.
let's
Okay.
do this.
Yes. So just when you guys first start with this, you may or may not be able to, have this kind of screen. But so when you first come, you're gonna have a new chat like this, okay? And
I'm not seeing the Claude. Are you?
oh,
Right now, I'm on the slide still.
okay. Hang on one sec. Let me just change it up. Screen. Thank you for calling me out. Last time I went on like half a presentation without showing anything.
It's pure selfishness, Ken. I want to see how you do this.
Okay, it looks like the resolution is okay. So when you first come in here, again, I'm not even paying for it. And if Claude wants to hook me up and send me a free plan because I'm such a good spokesperson, I provide my email. And so you have different models, right? The free one is the Sonnet, pretty reasonable. It's not the highest. It's not the most uh, sophisticated, but I think for a job like what we're doing is pretty good. Now, when we talk about this knowledge base before, you asked me whether it should be a custom GPT. It doesn't even have to be so complicated. Just add this content, and then you can just put in a. Well, it's not showing, but you just add this PDF or Excel or whatever documents, throw in there.
Yeah,
It will
that's
be
great.
able to absorb it just like that. No programming whatsoever. Okay, and there's some prompts and things like that. And really cool is like you can do vision. You can take a
Yeah,
picture.
I have it transcribed for me sometimes when I have photos of things if I want to get the content. I mean, there's so many uses. Just, it's a matter of playing around with it and getting comfortable with it.
Yeah, yeah. So there's all this means to input, to frame and contextualize your interactions with AI. So those are the very good fundamentals everybody should be learning. So I'm going to jump straight into this article, and for the sake of time, I already add this document, which has I'm going to show you guys really quick. So this document that Andrea has shared with me, okay, it's got all these details in there, and we saw the high bullet points and there's some details, and you guys will be able to get that with the email that you guys sign up for. Okay, so let's come back here. And the idea is, and now also this slide deck that we've been showing with the diagram, the wheel, and all of that already uploaded. So I got the McKinsey decision making. I got our deck. That's all the context AI have so far. So it hasn't been trained or brainwashed or anything like that. So let's go ahead and say, well, uh, we have ping points. Ask me interactive questions to come up with a SWOT analysis. Okay, so it's a pretty basic prompt. I got typoed. I'm not really capitalize things, but like AI nowadays is smart enough to be able to do that. Now, I just want to say a couple of things here. Um, Remember the huge context we want to avoid. Let's do a piecemeal, and this is one way to ask me interactive questions. And sometimes it's asking you questions like 5 or 10 at a time. Who has time for that? You can
Yeah.
even say that ask me interactive questions one at a time. Are you ready to get that acknowledgement before you start, going at it?
And
Okay.
to that point, Ken, I just want to say one thing. And one of the things I talked about early on with AI is you have to have patience. It is not necessarily, it can be a very quick solution, but sometimes to Ken's point, you have to go through a process. You have to go through an iterative
Mm-hmm.
process to get what you want.
Mm-hmm.
So to be patient to get the quality you want to have. I mean, it can give you a quick something, but
Yeah.
to get something that's really good, you need a little bit more patience and to do what Ken's talking about.
Yeah, and there are many prompt templates. There are many gurus out there, either giving you for free or you can buy
Yeah.
them. There are all these prompt templates. We're not going to get
And
into
you don't
that.
even need that anymore, quite frankly.
Yeah.
Sometimes you can give it just basic things like you're giving it and get a really decent output. And particularly if
hmm
you tell it what to act like and what you want it to, shoot out, it can be so simple. So no need to overcomplicate.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's. I think it's let's see. Go. Apologize for the confusion. You're right. You should focus on addressing ping points you mentioned. Okay, it's not being apologetic and being very nice. Okay, start. Uh, Asking questions one at a time. Okay, great. So it's giving me the first question. What factors do you believe are contributing most of the delays? Murphy's Law out of three
And
messages.
this was my point about what's
Yeah,
going on with Claude right now. It is
right.
just so popular that it does not give you a lot of use.
Mm-hmm.
So you wind up getting the out of message. But I think people get the idea. You'll go back and forth because I know you have the finished product ready. Is that correct? Because I don't
Yes.
think there's a way to get around this. It'll just keep giving you that message until whatever time.
Yeah. So I previously has done some other testing. I think that's how I burn up all of the quota as a resourceful, scrappy startup person. So let me just show you some artifacts. Uh, these are the diagrams that I promised that is going to come out. So I basically ask.
Huh. Yeah, what did you ask together? That's great.
Yeah, so I ask it to say, well, I need to do a LinkedIn event. I need to do a visual, which is kind of like the variation of what you saw on Canva. And I basically have this, questions back and forth. And they say, well, this is a circle. I want some continuous improvement. And and then I'm asking it to create a visual for me. And
Hmm.
it's doing that. And so what I was about to do is finish the interactive questioning and ask it, okay, this is good. Let me see if I can retrieve that. Okay. And Here. Ha ha. Ha ha
Ah,
ha ha.
I knew you could do it.
Yes. So is it going to win you a aesthetic design award of the year? I don't know, but it does save you so much time. So all you have to do is just save this, download this file, and put it into Canva and PowerPoint and Google Slides, whatever is your weapon of choice to bored people to death. That is your thing to do. Now, there are so basically it came up with from the questioning, from the line of questioning. I asked it to create this stuff for me, and the next artifact that I was about to make is that business canvas.
Mm.
Right, it's going to be again continue to ask me those questions, go back and forth and dance a couple times, and then it's going to give me the business canvas. And for those who haven't seen it, it's basically is a grid with a couple components. Do you remember what was there in BMC?
I can't remember. It's been a long time. I haven't used it since I did a certificate from Penn. It's been a
Yeah.
while. I mean, but
Let's
it's still
not date
being used.
ourselves, Andrea.
It's no, this was only 5 years ago, but it's still no, actually, it was 8 years ago. It was still being used. I mean, this is still being used in business schools. It's still being used in companies because it gives you a really nice snapshot of the things you need to have,
Hmm.
in terms of revenue streams, in terms of
Hmm.
your markets and distribution and things like that. It really just high level things you need to make a business successful.
Okay.
I can't remember off the top of my head exactly what they are. It's been
Yeah.
a while since I've had to do one.
Okay. So actually, because we ran out of messages that can be a homework, a take-home exercise, an extra credit if you guys will. But all you have to do is just say after you finish the interactive questioning, make me insert whatever graph or make me whatever infographics, and it retains the context, it retains the answers, it remembers what you guys been talking about, and it's gonna make the visual for you. And again, I'm not pushing for Anthropic or OpenAI or anybody, but I'm just saying that for what it is today to make visuals, it is probably the best tool right now is using the cloud.
And I just to Ken's point, I think the real important part of all this is to just try it. Just to go and play and see what comes out before you need it for an actual business case, to just
Mm-hmm.
start getting comfortable with it, seeing what's possible,
Mm-hmm.
and just to continuously iterate and refine it. Because it really is, it's going to save you so much time. And when you're able to deliver more quickly with better results, it's just better for your business, better for your professional career, just better, more better for your time management.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah. Yeah. Great. Let me do a time check. We got about 7 minutes left. So why don't we again scan the room to see if there's any question, and then maybe we can just start wrapping up. I'm gonna switch back to this slide deck here as well. I'm gonna
I know you have a few more slides.
yeah. So right here. Great. So
Yeah.
we'll come back to this circle here, and again, apologize for not being able to show everything in action, but you saw something, from the strategic vision, which is the interactive questioning, coming up with that SWOT analysis. The tactical planning, which again, will be extra credit for everyone who's really motivated to create this BMC, the business model canvas. And again, it's just following the same line of questioning. And again, the execution optimization and measure results, those are the rinse and repeat, kind of like what you see on the back of your shampoo and conditioner bottles.
But,
Great.
yeah, and I just think it's just to reiterate where we started from, it's just such an important process to use this in your decision making, because
Mhm.
again, you're going to get better data that you can put in to pressure test whatever it is you want to be doing, whatever it is you hope to create or do. Why not, before you even like dive in, get a lot of that work out of the way and know that you have a better product, whether it's for your business or
Hmm.
for your company, by using AI to refine before you really start getting your hands dirty, mixing all sorts of metaphors there. But yeah, it just can simplify things a lot.
Hmm. Yeah. So, Andrea, like you've listened to me ramble for the last, 20 minutes. What are your biggest takeaways today?
I just, well, first of all, I didn't even realize that I could do the visuals on Claude, so I'm really embarrassed. But, because I was using other platforms for that.
Mm,
But I do think, for somebody in business to be able to do that, to be able to have a product, a finished product, even if it's not beautiful, it's something you can take to your boss. It's something you can use with your team. It's something, an internal product that you can use that just saves you time, that makes you just look better. It makes
mm,
you actually, do better.
mm,
Um, and it's simple. I mean, I guess that's the biggest
mhm,
takeaway, is how simple it is to do all this. And you don't need, going back to your website, which I still want to talk to you about your coding, if an idiot like me can do that. But for all of us who are in business, to be able to do these things so simply with just a few words, a few prompts, if you really want to take it up a notch,
mhm,
and save yourself hours of frustration. Because I don't know if you're like me, but
mm.
the diagrams are just, and I my not so inner perfectionist always comes out. So yeah, the simplicity, I guess, is really the key.
Yeah. And to make things simple, it takes so much work. It's like, what's that thing that swims in this pond thing? Is a swan or a duck or something? Uh, it's kicking frantically.
Oh
But
yeah,
on the
yeah,
surface, it's so
yeah,
elegant because it's doing all the hard work below the surface.
yeah. I think
So,
that's most business owners, isn't it? Or and a lot of people in corporate or
yeah.
other industries. You just want to take away some of the franticness underneath the water, and
Hmm.
enjoy the benefits of what you've created. Because if you're working that hard,
Yeah.
it's really hard to enjoy what you've created.
Mm, yeah, and for your audience to enjoy that too, your management, your peers, and all that, and is imagine you're like very elegantly have this very simplified Zen looking chart, and you're really focusing on maintaining eye contact, maybe a little plate, a little staging, a little prop, little costume, whatever. Like, just not go overboard. Just yeah, just coming first-hand
Well,
experience. Don't go overboard.
really can. But the
Really?
other thing, the other thing that comes to mind is that I've worked with a lot of clients who are on the verge of burnout. I like to call it the
Mm,
slow burn. They're
mm,
just working way too hard. And
okay.
when we can find things like this, and I hate to call it a shortcut,
Mm,
but I think it's, again, to Ken's point earlier, it's just going to be integrated into how we do work. And the better you can understand it, the more easily, that's
mhm,
quite right. The easier it will be to integrate it into your workflow, your work stream, so it does feel and look seamless,
yeah.
and you get better products, and there's less chance of burnout, unless, of course, you tell your boss you have
Mhm,
saved all this time and then they give you more work. So that'll be our little secret. Don't tell anyone. But you want to you want to start using this to just get some of your work life balance back. And I hate to use that term,
yeah.
but you want to get more time. And this is a
Mhm,
really great way to do it once you develop the ease with it.
mhm,
Um,
yeah. So right now they can feel like shortcuts, but very soon it'll be the on ramp to the highway.
uh, 100%.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's going to be an expectation soon enough. So why
hmm,
not, get on the highway now? That way you get ahead
absolutely.
of the traffic.
Absolutely. Unless it's what is that 110 in SoCal, then sorry, can't help you.
I'm used to I-95. I'm a New York girl, but that's okay.
Uh, Great. Well, we got basically 1 minute to go, and it's just a little parting gift. So, if you guys want to scan the QR code in the upper right corner or you can
Oh, there it is. Okay, see it.
yeah,
I see it. The little green thing
you
in the corner.
oh, you
Yeah.
can see my mouse cursor. Oh, I just realized. Yeah. So anyway, in the upper right corner, you can scan it, or you can just do it some typing. It will take you to a quick form. You'll be sent the slide deck, the recording, and also some quick promo code. And again, little shameless plug. Is that okay with you, Andrea? I got a little
Ah,
shameless plug.
I'll plug you myself. So go ahead, because
Yeah.
I just, I feel very grateful to have met this man. And I hope I get a friends and family discount for his Maven course because I just know it's going to be awesome. So I really can't recommend what Ken does enough because I just know how hard he works and
Uh,
how good he is at what he does. So I just say go for it. And you
uh,
get this 15% promo code. So
yeah.
bonus.
Thank you, Andrea. There's not
Yeah.
enough women in my life that said those words to me. So I love you. I love you, Andrea.
I'm going to tell you why.
Which one? Anyway, so Victor Cuevas and I have been working around the clock on this Maven course. It's called Launch a Business Using AI in a Tough Economy. And again, we're not trying to, have, get more fear or anything like that, but it is what it is. I mean, I just saw another article. Cisco is having another round of reorg, and
Yeah,
Intuit, you name it, everyone is going through some reorg right now. So I think it's good, whether you are already gainfully employed or you're looking ahead, you're looking sideways or whatever. It's always good to have those skills,
I
and
agree.
especially being resourceful, being scrappy, and being able to make something out of nothing. I think is a very good training exercise. So doing this course is a cohort course. You get access to both Victor and myself. We'll meet once weekly for 3 weeks. And then there's also office hours that you guys can come and just bring your questions, ask anything. And so it's a very good way to really get up to speed. And at the end of it, you just don't go sit through some classes. You're going to have a working website that you can open to take money for either products
I
or
think I need to
services.
sign up.
And so, yeah, this is, just sitting back is not typically my cup of tea. I mean, if you're
Yeah.
in it, we will make sure that you walk away with a working website that you can start open business with.
And just to reiterate, one of my favorite things about working with Ken, and I'm not getting anything from this, so I'm just saying this as somebody who's witnessed him. He's just really good at sharing things in a simple way. So even if you're not technical, it's easy to understand. So, and if it is technical, he's got you covered there too. But I think it's a real gift to be able to share things in a way that's simple and understandable for people who aren't technical. So, why not sign up?
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah,
Yeah.
awesome. I still love you, Andrea.
Thank you. Feelings mutual. One day we'll meet. Okay. Shall we let these nice people go? And feel free to DM us, of course, if you have any questions. We both love talking about this stuff and would love to work with any of you, probably, if we can help you. That's always the important part, making sure we can provide value. It's what we are here for.
And oh, so Andrea, what is your company? How do we access you again?
Well, for now, you can access me. My company is leadwellcompany.com because, I have my background is healthcare and I try to integrate leadership and well-being because I know how important it is. Like Ken, I went through my own health issues and I think it's foundational. But I also think mindset is a big part of that and
Mm,
AI is a big part of all of this. So I'm at www.leadwellcompany.com, or you can just or write me, Andrea at leadwellcompany.com, or DM me on LinkedIn, which is simplest.
awesome, terrific.
Well, you can speak to my agent here.
Excellent. Well,
Yes, this has been a pleasure. Yeah.
we're probably like between some people's lunch or tea time. So let's get out of the way.
Thank you all for joining us. We really appreciate you taking the time.
Awesome. Thank you. Have a good one. Bye.
Bye.